What's poppin', y'all? And welcome back to I Do It Myself. So, yo, today is Friday. Oh, man, it's December 27th. Shouts out to my nephew, Marquise. Happy birthday, nephew. Love you, kid. My birthday is tomorrow. You know what I mean? Saturday the 28th. You know what I mean? Good, big GOAT day. You heard Denzel Washington, Stan Lee, just to name a few people who share the same birthday as me and all of that. But I hope all of y'all are safe. I hope y'all had a good holiday, and I hope y'all getting prepared for 2025 because we got a lot coming. And I mean all of us collectively, not just me. I mean y'all too. If y'all been wishing for it, work for it. You feel me? Today we talking about Fat Joe, Tariq Nasheed, and the FBA. So yo, it's been a lot going on with this conversation regarding hip hop and who's the founders, who started hip hop. And honestly, let me just give y'all a little bit of context, right? So the birthday of hip hop is August 11th, 1973. I was born in 1982. You know what I'm saying? So my perspective might be, I'm not going to say skewed, but my perspective is coming from a place of what I saw growing up, what influenced me, what I know to be true and all of that, right? And I will say, let's start it off with this. Hip hop is black culture. I'm not going to dispute that. Hip hop is black culture. But let me add some context to that. I am born and raised in the Bronx, and I migrated to Harlem years after. When I was 12 years old, I moved to the east side of Harlem. So I grew up in Spanish Harlem, aka El Barrio, right? And growing up there, everything's kind of integrated, and also in the Bronx is integrated. So specifically when it comes to Fat Joe, I'm not going to be against Fat Joe if that's what y'all thinking. Fat Joe was in the same class as my older sister. You know what I'm saying? He knew my dad. He grew up in the projects right around the corner from the where my dad used to hustle out on Boston Road. He grew up in Forest Projects. You know what I'm saying? So I grew up kind of in that area as well, being over there visiting my pops. Now, I want to talk about, this whole FBA thing because I'm still learning. I don't know everything about it, right? But the FBA is the Foundation of Black Americans. You know what I mean? They are descendants of the black people who survived one of the greatest atrocities recorded in American history, slavery. FBA are descendants of black people who built the United States from scratch. So I'm also not going to be against Tariq Nasheed and all of that because I'm never against my people standing up for my people. But I do want to talk about division. And I think that while everybody pointing the finger and shit, we losing sight of the focus. We don't own any of this shit, right? So Fat Joe was on Math Hoffa show. Shout out to Math Hoffa, you know what I'm saying? And he spoke a little bit about how he feels regarding Tariq, and this is what he had to say.
These rumors were made by radical black racists. Let's just say that. Okay? It's a group of these guys that don't want to hear Jamaican, don't want to hear Guyanese, they don't want to hear a black guy that ain't down with them.
Right.
Right? So their job is to criticize anybody who don't look like them or who ain't black American.
Who are these guys?
You want me to say a name? We're going to give them too much clout.
I mean,
the FBA, Foundational Black Authority, whoever the fuck these broke niggas is.
So, all right. Fat Joe, what he's saying, now look, I'm not going to associate the word racist with being black. I will say prejudice, you know what I'm saying? A lot of us can be prejudiced, but I'm not going to go to the part of going racist for the simple fact of what we've gone through in this country. I don't know how we could accept every single person and all of that to a certain extent right now. I'm not a hateful person. You know what I'm saying? I'll say that off the bat. I'm not a hateful person. But to say racist black people, it's a little bit tough right now. I do also understand from the perspective of when he talking about FBA, because I was doing a little bit of research what people say online about FBA, and he talking about like how they don't identify with like Africans that live in America or, Jamaicans or Haitians and all of that. And my only problem is this, right? Like growing up in the Bronx, I've also seen Puerto Ricans that's darker than me. I got a sister that's half Puerto Rican. I've also seen Puerto Ricans that's black as Ace of Spade that don't think they black. Or I've seen Dominicans that's darker than me, nappier hair than mine, say that they not black. And I think that optics is for me, I'm very, very extremely big on optics just because I know how I was treated from the time I was old enough to get stopped and frisked. I know how I was treated by the police. I know how I was treated by society, right? So I'm very, very big on optics, but culture is two different things. And I think that like a lot of times when we try to integrate optics with culture, that's where we get a big divide, right? So Fat Joe also, talks about the history of what he saw growing up or what he experienced living in the Bronx. And let's take a look at that.
Gotta be fucking kidding me, man. And so they trying to change the narrative. They're not from New York.
Right.
So they telling a whole nother story. This was whoopity doop wop. This, that, yo, bro. Far as I know, we're at Yankee Stadium right now, and it's hip hop's 50th birthday. And the guy who invented it, Grandmaster Flash, my brother carried his crates. My babysitters made up the, let me hear you say, ho. It's two girls, twins, used to babysit me. They made up, let me hear you say, ho. So they have a big problem, these guys, right? So they're against anybody who ain't with them. So this ain't a popular message. This ain't what everybody's saying. We might be giving them too much light right here is what I'm trying to tell you.
Right.
So there's a small minority to get on them Twitters and they running it up.
So with that being said, I think that like when it comes to being there on the ground, that does say a lot. Now, the whole conversation that's coming around is because Tariq did a film, a documentary, and it's talking about the origins of hip hop. I did not see it. So listen, let me just be honest with y'all. It's hard to keep up with a lot of this stuff, and I try to keep up with as much as I can possibly. I'm gonna watch Tariq's documentary because he seems like a very well-spoken brother. But it's the conversation about, did Puerto Ricans 50-50 help blacks create hip hop, right? Again, when hip hop was created, well, by the time I was 10 years old, I wasn't even one yet. I was going on one. You know what I'm saying? So my perspective is coming from my experience. Now, from my experience, with that being said, I think that hip hop, and I said this plenty times, is a pyramid, and everybody who does it gets to put a certain brick in. Now, we laid a lot of bricks. Let's keep it 1,000. Black people, we laid a lot of bricks, and we got a lot of flack for laying the bricks. But at the same time, I can't think about where hip hop would be if not for a Big Pun, if not for a Fat Joe, if not for the Beat Nuts, you know what I mean? Other Puerto Rican groups. And with that being said, like, that does not mean that it's 50-50, or I'm saying it's 50-50. But I think that contributions are contributions nonetheless. If you look at hip hop overall in its all totality, it is a culture, but it's also a culture that we don't fucking run. And that's my biggest problem with this whole conversation about it, because again, let's watch this clip from Tariq Nasheed, and he's talking with Vlad, and they're talking about hip hop. Let's watch that right quick.
Right, and the thing that's rubbing a lot of people the right way, there's this whole push just suddenly for there to be this co-creation, because now hip hop is going to the Olympics, breakdancing is in the Olympics now, so now there's a big corporate drive, and there's going to be a lot of corporate money there. So now hip hop and breakdancing and b-boying is looked at as a positive. When black people were just doing it, it was like, oh, look at those Negroes on the floor. What are they doing?
So, of course, talking about co-creation, this, that, and the third. I think that everybody would love to move the goalpost to fit whatever they feel is best, right? Like, to me, doesn't matter who started it first. I know, regardless to who somebody says this person started it, that person started it, this person started it. Look at the contracts, man. We down 20 in the fucking fourth quarter. We down 20 in the fourth quarter with 5 minutes to go. Don't look like we ever gonna win the game. And the reason why I feel like we not never gonna win the game is because it's always this. Now, I'm not mad at Tariq Nasheed for doing the stuff that he's doing or the work that he's doing. I think that if you do cause a certain level of divide where, you know, you're not open to talking with other black, and maybe I need to do a little bit more research. I don't have nothing negative to say about the brother. But if you're doing something where everybody can't be included, especially due to your hue, I think that raises a lot of questions. Now, with Fat Joe, a lot of people is bothered by Fat Joe, specifically black people. And of course, you get the conversation of what gives them the right to say nigga and all of that, right? When it comes to hip hop as a culture, hip hop is a culture that was created in the Bronx of New York. That culture spread everywhere. Atlanta got their turn. LA got their turn. Houston got their turn. And I feel like everybody have their different iterations of what they started. But this is what we always arguing about. Now, I beg the question though, y'all. How far could Tariq Nasheed and Fat Joe get by having a genuine conversation about, with the resources that Fat Joe has and the resources of what Tariq has and what he's trying to do and what they trying to do to move it forward so that our babies could benefit off of this shit. Because that's the real conversation. Our babies need to be benefiting off of this. Everything I do, from I do it myself to all other content to the jobs I do, is to benefit my babies. I like to buy myself nice stuff too, but it's to benefit my babies, you feel me? So I think that, like, you know, I'm gonna just say and close with this point. I'm not mad at either one of these brothers for standing up for themselves, but I think that, like, just this divide shit, man, specifically with blacks and Puerto Ricans, because I grew up in the Bronx, and that also was a divide depending on what the conversation was, you know what I'm saying? But again, I grew up in a town, specifically the east side of Harlem, where I also experienced the culture of the Puerto Rican Day Festival, you know what I'm saying? We're living in the epicenter of that shit. So a lot of this stuff is intertwined. When Big Pun had came out, his music during the festivals, and anybody from the east side, even if you're from the Bronx, if you've been to the festival in the east side of Harlem, you know what Big Pun meant, and that's hip hop, and that's, you know, something that's what I'm saying. It's like this world when it's like this tennis that we play back and forth about who got this, who got that, who started this, who started that, but we don't own this shit. While these motherfuckers is laughing to the bank all the time. I'm gonna end it with that. And, you know, once we do a little bit more research and watch a couple of more things, we'll give some more context into that conversation. Okay, now I also want to talk about, because Fat Joe did talk about Lord Jamal from Brand Nubian, but I want to talk about Sadat X. So Sadat X is one of the founding members of Brand Nubian, you know what I mean, a hip-hop group that I grew up listening to, Love Me or Leave Me Alone. They had so many records when I was a kid. But Sadat X posted himself, you know, working at a hospital today. And I really enjoy seeing some shit like this, and I'm gonna tell y'all why. But check out this clip right quick.
Why do I work here? Basically, it's just one of my hustles, yo. I'm here from 7 to 3. I'm certified. You know, I did go to school for it. I'm getting ready to get probably a surgical tech certification. Probably move to the OR. But you know, it got benefits. Fortunately, in rap, a lot of times there ain't no real benefits yet. I got a pension plan. That's gonna count in the long run at some point as I get older. You know, plus I'm here from 7 to 3. I'm back here by myself for the first 4 hours. I usually listen to the Star Report. You know, I like Star. I be having to turn it down low though, because sometimes people be complaining. I listen to my music. I write sometimes. From here I go to the gym. That's 4 to 5 days a week. That's the discipline. You understand? There ain't no chairs back here, so I'm on my feet. I've seen a lot of people come back here and bounce at
So I thought that clip was beautiful. I thought that clip was beautiful. I thought that clip was honest. And it led to me tweeting. I put up a tweet. It says, if that music ain't making no money, there's nothing wrong with having a job. Don't make you any less of a man or a woman. Do what you gotta. And the reason why I wanted to say that is this. In my career, you know, this music shit, I've seen it discourage people. I'm talking about fully break people down. The only thing I've seen people break people down like this is maybe sports, right? Having that dream of being that star player, making it to the NBA or the NFL, and not getting there, and being a man in high school and AAU and going to college and not making it, and that breaks people on another level as well. And I just want y'all to all know, yo, like, if you're an artist, if you're trying to do something with yourself, if you got this burning desire to do art, then that's fine. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people always say, like, you know, if you ain't all in, then you ain't all in. But if your art isn't making you money, do what you got to do to make money. Don't get discouraged because you might have made a video, and that video, you know, it was portraying your art, or you was doing your art, and then you riding the train or you riding the bus and you worried about what people think. Because guess what? Those people do not matter. All the people that got the most negative shit to say about you is not going to be there at your worst of times or your best of times. The ones that will is the ones that you love and the ones that love you. So I want all of y'all, yo, listen, it don't even got to do with music. If you're a podcaster, if you're a content creator, this is a tough game to get into. Even for myself, you know what I'm saying? I've been learning, you know, once I got to monetization, it's like, okay, I crossed that path, but it's like, you know, not just doing shit for the fluff, not just doing shit trying to go viral because that's what people think. All right, so once you go viral, then what? You know what I'm saying? Oh, everybody got a chance to see it, but how are you taking that virality and equating it to business? It doesn't always work that way. So a lot of y'all, you know what I'm saying? I hope that y'all don't get discouraged and feel like, well, listen, I always wanted to do this job and I can't do this job while I'm trying to be a rapper because I'm rapping a certain way. Rap about reality. Rap about your life. even if your life doesn't always have to be the most glamorous, and it ain't always got to be the worst. You know what I'm saying? Life is a great balance. This shit up and down, hot and cold, left and right. And I think that a lot of us got to tap into ourselves and really look in the mirror. When you got mouths to feed and bills to pay, none of that shit that anybody is talking matters. Do what you got to do for you and yours. This is I do it myself, y'all. I'm thinking about doing another episode to drop on my birthday. Why not? Why not? We've been going up. We've been working. Y'all been supporting me, and I thank y'all. For the ones that rock with me, you know how we doing. For the ones that don't, eventually y'all will. This is I do it myself. I'm Wayno. 2025 is on the way, y'all, and I can't wait for it. Peace.